Hey guys, Jay Hoyt here. Before this one gets started, I just want to say we are getting so close. I say it every video now, we're getting so close to a lot of milestones here on social media. We are now 6 subscribers away from our goal of 200 here on YouTube. That's crazy. We've gained another one. Like I said, we're so close. On Twitter, we're 3 away from 100. Twitch, we're 2 away from 100. So if you haven't yet, or if you're new to any of my platforms, any of my channels, please go over there, hit the follow button, hit the subscribe button here on YouTube as we enter into our 5th video of our CDL roster preview with the London Royal Ravens. What's going on, guys? Jay Hoyt back with you today. Welcome back to some Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War. We actually have a really clutch control game for you. I don't really do the best personally, but we clutch up at the end. But like I said in the intro, this is our 5th video for our CDL roster preview. This one is the London Royal Ravens, the UK, the European powerhouse that was the London Royal Ravens last year, but they weren't actually as strong as I thought. So they were always in consideration for, you know, the top half of the teams, which could be top 6, if you will, right? I felt like they were a good team, but I feel like they could never get over a hump. And they were always like above average, but like not awful, but like couldn't really compete with the best, but like sometimes they could. And it just, I don't know, they were such a weird team. So let's just recap what they do last year, right? They get 6th in the league, which was like, okay, interesting. You can get top of the table, but they can never really make it past that mark. Then they show up at champs and get top 4. Okay, it's online, but like whatever. Then throughout the year, these guys made a couple of roster changes. They dropped Jerd out of the lineup. They dropped, I think it was Rated out of the lineup, and just neither of those changes seemed to help them. And they made it to the semifinal, or they made it to top 4 times throughout the entire year. And I mean, like, that's decent, but like they only made it to the grand finals once. And that's when Chicago took them out in the grand finals. But I mean, like, they were just kind of like average. I don't know what it was. They were like good, but not like one of the best. It was really weird. But I mean, these guys, you'd think, you know, London, big town, right? You know, whenever the Call of Duty League or the CWL or the COD in general went to London and had an event, the crowd is always insane, right? I mean, obviously, I'm biased because I'm from North America, but whenever I hear those guys going absolutely bonkers in no matter who's playing, and, you know, especially if the hometown team is playing, or, you know, back in the day when Optic Gaming was playing, I mean, they were just insane. Absolutely insane. I wish we'd have COD champs in London one year, because that would be insane. But London goes, obviously, well, we all go from 5v5 back down to 4v4. These guys pretty much had an overhaul of the roster, as they now have Alex, Dylan, Shawnee, and Zero. So, okay, Alex comes over from Minnesota. I believe Dylan stays with this team. I believe he was there last year. Shawnee, I think, was on the bench last year, and then Zero kind of went to London, but like then also came from New York, if you will. But all these players are European. Let's just start with that. But why? Okay, Alex and Dylan, right? That's your sub duo there, and then Zero and Shawnee will be that AR in that flex role. But I feel like they could have done better, and it probably is pretty clear to what I'm gonna say next. But Scraps, Wuskins, where are they at? Oh, that's right, they're still free agents because this team didn't pick them up. But I feel like, maybe I'm wrong, maybe there's chemistry issues, I don't know. But I feel like Scraps and Wuskin, along with Dylan and Alex, if Alex, Dylan, Scraps and Wuskin was a team, just off of pure talent alone, I would probably have that team higher than I do them right now. That's for sure. And that's not saying much, honestly. But they would definitely be a lot better, you know, collectively as individual talents than this team, in my opinion. Now, no disrespect towards Shawnee and Zero, but Zero hasn't really been on the top recently. Shawnee, I mean, none of these guys have really, but I just don't feel like this team right here can compete with the top teams, right? When you look at the Atlanta or Optic or Chicago, I should say, Dallas, even the new Seattle squad, right? I mean, New York has been looking pretty good. Then you look at this team, and I'm like, I just don't know. Maybe I could be completely wrong, but at least from these players on paper, the first half makes sense of Alex and Dylan, right? Those two players are nasty. But then when you look at Shawnee and Zero, I just feel like if they had Scraps and Wuskin there, that it would have been a significantly better team that realistically probably could compete for that top 4, right? They'd be instantly top 6. And I'd be like, all right, this team is probably a team that can maybe even win an event this year. Like, that's how crazy it will be. But this team, as far as season prediction goes, I mean, I'm probably saying, like, unless some of the teams that we're predicting to be really good, like, don't perform, then I would probably consider this team a bottom of the half or bottom of the table team. It's actually 7 through 12 would be the mark there, right? That'd be the bottom 6. But this team is interesting. They definitely have upset potential. Do I think they win an event this year? Probably not. Do I think this team makes a roster change? I mean, honestly, I think it would all depend on what happens to Scraps and Wuskin. I mean, realistically, I'd like to see both of them go over to the Paris side and team up with, like, Jerd and some other crazy European player. But, I mean, if Scraps and Wuskins are still free agents and just competing in challengers this year, and they're starting to do really well and better than your team, I mean, that's definitely a move worth looking at. But just overall, I don't think this team will be as good this year as they were last year, right? They finished 6th in the league, 4th at Champs. Champs, whatever. I mean, it's all. I mean, the league is going to be online this year, which sucks, but I just don't have confidence. I really don't, especially given the new talents and you know, how well some of these top teams are playing, plus the new rosters that are forming. If they compete and they play how they're expected to, it's going to be a tough league, a really, really tough league. But I don't know. I think that 7 to 12 range is what I'm thinking right now. Obviously, I could be wrong. I'm not the most familiar with European players, but all in all, I don't see this team doing too much of anything this year. I think they struggle. I think they'll beat the bottom half teams, the teams that are, like I said, in the bottom half of the league, like your LA Gorillas, probably Paris if their rumored roster is what their actual team's going to be, because yikes. And you know, those teams that are down there, but I don't know. I just don't feel like this team will be there. But I could keep repeating it all day long, but I guess we'll have to just wait and see once the league starts. But with all that being said, guys, thank you so much for watching. If you did enjoy, hit that like button down below. Comment below, what team do you want to see next, right, out of all the remaining CDL teams. Let me know who you want to see next. If you haven't yet, or if you're new here, hit that subscribe button down below. Like I said before, we are getting so close to so many milestones here on YouTube, Twitter, and Twitch. You obviously the sub buttons down below, but Twitch and Twitter links are down below, so hit that follow button on both of those platforms. With all that being said, guys, see you in the next one.